cost managers out there use to make way smarter, more profitable decisions in the real world. So, have you ever stopped to wonder what really separates a good business decision from a truly great one? Is it just some kind of gut feeling, a lucky guess, or is there something more to it? Well, it turns out there is. There's a whole systematic approach, a way of thinking that the most successful leaders use to cut through the noise and navigate really complex choices. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the one big problem that drives literally all of economics. Then we'll look at the two different ways you can view an economy. From there, we'll zoom in on what we're calling the manager's secret weapon. Then, and this is a big one, we'll break down the huge difference between two types of profit. And finally, we'll figure out what the real ultimate goal of any business actually is. So, first up, let's talk about the fundamental economic problem. Our journey really starts with a universal truth, a basic conflict that is the bedrock of all economics. It's this constant push and pull between what we desire and what we actually have. It's the simple reason we have to make choices at all. And this is it right here. It's so simple but so powerful. On one hand, you have us, humans. Our wants are basically infinite. We always want more, something new, something better. But on the other hand, the resources we need to make all those things, the land, the labor, the capital, they're all limited. They're scarce. And this clash, this tension between unlimited wants and scarce resources is what forces everyone, from a single person to a huge corporation, to make tough choices. And that at its heart is all economics really is. It's the study of how we, as people and as a society, decide to use those scarce resources to try and satisfy our endless wants. You could just call it the science of choice. It's really just a framework for managing that fundamental problem of scarcity. Okay, so when economists look at this problem of choice, they use two different lenses, and each one gives a completely different perspective. Think of it like looking at a forest from a helicopter versus examining a single leaf on a tree. So, macroeconomics, that's the helicopter view, the big picture. It looks at the health of the entire economy. We're talking about huge things like GDP, inflation rates, and national unemployment. This is the environment your business has to survive in. Microeconomics, on the other hand, is the close-up, the single leaf. It focuses on the decisions of the individual players inside that big economy, like a single customer's choice or how one company sets its prices. And that, microeconomics, is where we're going to live today. So let's bring it all down from that high-level theory right onto the manager's desk. We're about to connect the dots between the ideas of microeconomics and a super practical tool that helps people run their businesses better every single day. And here it is. This is our core concept. Managerial economics isn't just theory floating in the clouds. It is applied microeconomics. It takes those principles, supply and demand, costs, pricing, and smashes them together with real data to help managers find the absolute best, most optimal solution to whatever problem they're facing. And this quote from Spencer and Siegelman just nails it. It's the integration of economic theory with business practice. It's the bridge that lets a manager take these big, powerful economic ideas and use them to make solid, real-world plans and decisions. It's where the rubber meets the road. And it's not just a random process. There's a method to the madness. Managerial economics gives you a super clear, logical framework to follow. You start by figuring out what you're trying to achieve, you clearly state the problem, and then you systematically work through every possible option, analyzing each one until you find the best path forward. Then you do it, and you watch to see what happens. See? It's a discipline, not just a shot in the dark. Okay, now we're getting to what I think is the most eye-opening part of this whole thing. We're about to challenge the way almost everyone thinks about profit. Because as you're about to see, the profit you see on a normal financial statement, it might be hiding the real story. First things first, we got to understand two different kinds of cost. Explicit costs are the obvious ones. It's the actual money leaving your pocket for things like wages, rent, and supplies. Your accountant loves tracking these. But then there are implicit costs. These are the hidden but incredibly powerful costs of the opportunities you pass up. It's the value of the next best thing you could have done. No cash actually changes hands, but believe me, the cost is very, very real. Now, let's watch how this plays out. Let's say someone starts a retail store. The accountant looks at the books. $90,000 in revenue minus $30,000 in explicit costs for an accounting profit of $20,000. Looks pretty good, right? But the economist comes along and asks a different question. Hey, what did you give up to start this store? Well, turns out the owner gave up a $60,000 salary from their old job. And the money they invested? It could have been earning $10,000 in interest. When you subtract those implicit or opportunity costs, the entire picture flips. The business actually has an economic loss of $50,000.
And that is the absolute crucial point here. Just because your business is showing an accounting profit doesn't mean it was actually a good decision. Economic profit is the true measure of success because it forces you to ask, compared to what? It takes into account the full opportunity cost of everything you're using.
So, this whole idea of true profit leads us right to our final section. If just making a short-term accounting profit isn't the main goal, then what is? What's the ultimate objective that should be guiding every single one of these managerial decisions? This is exactly why economic profit matters so much. A company's real value isn't just about the profit it made today. It's all about its ability to generate true economic profits over the long run. Now, you don't need to get lost in the math here, but what this is telling us is that a firm's worth is basically the value of all the profits it's expected to make in the future. The goal isn't just a quick win this year. It's to build a sustainable stream of value for years and years to come. So the real goal is maximizing the firm's value, and that means focusing on the long term. It's about building cash flows that can last, about managing your risks smartly, and about making every single decision, from what you charge to how you produce, with the one goal of increasing the company's overall long-term worth. And you just can't do that if you don't understand your true economic profit. So we'll leave you with this question to chew on. The next time you've got a big decision to make, could be at work, could be in your personal life, don't just look at the obvious out-of-pocket costs. Stop and ask yourself, what am I giving up? What's the next best thing I could be doing with my time, my money, my energy? What are the hidden costs here?